Hi everyone, my name is Dave, and in 2022 I had the incredible opportunity to backpack over 10,000 kilometers across Western Europe with the help of Discover EU. In this video, I want to share with you what I've learned, from more general topics like planning, packing, accommodation and safety, to more specific questions, such as Discover EU meetups, how to get a plane ticket from Discover EU, traveling solo, as a girl, as a group, and hitchhiking. You can navigate this video by chapters. To help you get the most out of your Intel adventure, I've interviewed 3 friends who also explored Europe with Discover EU. Let's meet them.
I'm Natalia, and when I was 17 years old, I traveled for 2 weeks with Discover EU from Sweden to Spain, mostly by trains, but also with a plane. It was a solo trip, so I think there's a lot of interesting things to say, and I hope it's gonna help some of you.
Hello, my name is Jacob. Last year I participated in Discover EU initiative. There I got plane tickets, which I used to go to Iceland for 10 days with a group of my friends. And also a rail ticket, which I used to go from Poland to Austria, Hungary, Italy, Slovenia, and also in the end to Prague in Czechia.
Hi, my name is Marek, and I'm going to tell you about our trip, which contained 10 countries and 10,000 kilometers, and we were able to do it thanks to Discover EU program.
Planning is crucial, but don't overdo it. Sure, you will need reservations for some popular attractions, but having a general idea of where you want to go and what you want to see should be enough. Be flexible and leave room for spontaneity, because most likely not all will go according to your plans. The Interrail app is great for planning routes, but try to have a backup plan in case of delays, and always double check the national websites for reliable information, especially for Deutsche Bahn and Renfe, as they are the most unreliable, at least in my experience. In description, I will link a great PDF from Interrail with maps of train routes as well as lots of additional info, like on which routes you need seat reservations. I will also mention here that in Spain and Portugal and a few other countries or routes, you are required to have a paper seat reservations that you can only make at the train station, so unfortunately getting it online beforehand is not an option. If you don't know what to visit, where to go, or need inspiration, I am also linking a Google Doc made by fellow Discover EU participants with over 100 pages of interesting and useful tips about lots of destinations all over Europe. My personal recommendations would be a sunset at the Rock of Gibraltar and Island Abbey of Mont Saint-Michel.
Well, I really liked Budapest and Milan. Wow. We're choosing from cities on the continental Europe, because beside that, of course, Iceland takes the spot. It was the highlight.
I wanted to visit Barcelona since I was a child because my favorite soccer team is from Barcelona. And we managed to visit the stadium, the museum, and the whole city because we've been in Barcelona for 2 or 3 days. The other place was Monaco, and it was very interesting because we've been here at night, so everything what we visited was from the perspective of nightlife.
My memories from Madrid are so cool, but it's not connected like with strict Madrid, just the fact that there was the biggest relax, like the moment that I let myself to just stay in a park and doing nothing after 10 days of walking non-stop and just sightseeing as much as possible. But Switzerland took my heart, and the trains in Switzerland are like the best.
Travel light. Don't take too many clothes and ditch the just-in-case items. Trust me, I speak from experience.
I had a standard backpack with no wheels, which I think is my fault because the backpack was very heavy. I've had a lot of stuff packed in, too much food and too much clothes.
My greatest advice is take a backpack with wheels. You'll thank me when you come back. We also came to a conclusion that the most essential things you can take are
Documents, money, phone, power bank.
Definitely power bank. Yes. You cannot manage without that.
Power banks, of course, like a lot.
I have to mention it, toilet paper is
yes,
lifesaver.
And the camera, of course.
There are lockers in almost every hostel I was, but in some of them you need your own lock.
I recommend like to have some, I would say, soft backpack to have it inside your like normal to not going with the big one for sightseeing, just to repack for something smaller. Also like something really small that you can wear under your clothes for money, documents, phone, something like that. It's really like useful and in my opinion just necessary.
the additional smaller backpack can also be used for comfort. That is to better distribute weight between front and back. Hostels are the most common and budget-friendly option, as well as relatively safe and great for meeting travelers. Couchsurfing or similar websites let you experience local culture with your hosts and are way cheaper. You could also sleep on a beach or on a bench in a park like a homeless person, but it might be difficult to get much shut-eye with all the mosquitoes in the summer, and I'd recommend not doing it alone as it's not very safe. We also use the tent. Outside of camping grounds, it's rarely legal, but if you arrive late and leave early, you shouldn't have any problems. And it's the absolute cheapest option. So especially if you are traveling as a group, I think it's worth the extra weight. Safety first, always. You don't want this to be your last trip. Traveling as a group is great for having each other's backs, but solo travelers can still be safe. Just use common sense, avoid risky situations, don't drink too much, and consider a hidden money pouch for documents and other valuables, but also don't keep them all in one place. Health-wise, don't forget to take your European Health Identity Card, and I recommend buying extra health insurance from iSeek because it's super cheap and more than enough for anything that might happen to you. So let's talk money. I've spent around 1500 euros for a very intense 4 weeks in Western Europe, but it can vary a lot depending on the length of your trip, the part of Europe you're visiting, and your general travel style.
I've spent like 500 euros, I could say. I think it was quite cheap trip for like 2 weeks, but I would say I could spend much more money. But I also wanted to make it cheap, so I think it worked. So
Only the trip around Europe, excluding Iceland, it took me 200 euros, something about that. For me, for 2.5 weeks of traveling, I'd say it was enough, but I guess anyone beside me should take much more. And for Iceland, I think I needed maybe 600 euros or something like that. But we took a lot of food in luggage.
I've spent about 1500 euros, and I think that it could be cheaper, but it would be very hard to do it cheaper. This amount of money was affordable for poor students traveling around Europe.
Budgeting is important, but always try to have some extra cash for any unexpected expenses.
One unexpected expense that I had was travel from Madrid to Bilbao. I didn't manage to get into the train on time, so I had to find out another solution, and I had to pay extra for the bus.
for example, one of my train just disappeared. Like it was in the app of Discover, and it was night train, so quite a bad situation like for me those days, because I was on the railway station and I was like, okay, I have 20 minutes, but the train wasn't on any boards and anywhere. It was a night, so any information on any, like there was not really much people, so no one to ask. So just you are without your train, without your sleep also, because you wanted to sleep on a train. You have to try to figure it out. If you are alone, I could say, if you are going to the solo trip, it can be harder because you want to sleep, you want to just relax, and you can't, and you are the only person that can solve your problems. But you can do it, and you can just get some, self-confidence about solving problems like this. So I just found another train. Yeah. I bought extra flights, which was like going with the flow thing. When I was planning it, I quite thought about that opportunities, and I could just do that. So it was like not unexpected, maybe unplanned, but still not that surprising thing.
There is a subpage on Discover.eu, and there are listed meetups for current month, or actually for current year. I've seen that there is one meetup in Florence, and it was during my trip, so I kind of planned my trip to be there at right place at right time. I wrote a message that I'm willing to go there, and then I had to send them my ticket to the place. I blurred some of it to not make it possible to steal it by the people who organized that. It's not always mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had to send them my train ticket or bus ticket, I think, to Florence, and then they sent me a message that I am in. So you get accommodation. Accommodation is great. It's in a 5-star hotel with everything included. We also had tour guides, and there was also a cameraman following us around. All the entry fees were covered. If I could, I would only do these meetups. Actually, you can do how many you want. The most important thing, I met a lot of great people.
Also, it's good to mention that if you didn't win the Interrail ticket, you can still participate in meetups. You just have to get there on your own budget.
I can already talk about like traveling solo also as a girl, because I would say that the main difference that I can really feel is the fact that everyone is asking about that. Honestly, what you can do, it's not going to like party alone. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't sightseeing during the night. Just going with the sun to the hostels and just stay there, letting my mom know what my plans are, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be, that someone can like do something if something could happen to you. Because, for example, I would say I will be somewhere that time, and we had like the rule that I'm texting her that, okay, I arrived, even if it's like night, so when she wake up and like didn't receive the message from me, she could know that something probably happened. So that's probably all. Just watching, just being all the time in some kind of contact, but also just trusting yourself. If you feel not safe somewhere, just go from there. Yes, if you, for example, booked some hostel and you get there and there's like something, for example, something weird, something that makes you feel unsafe there, just change it. Even if it could cost you some extra money, it's okay to do something you just feel is better for you at the moment. Just not going alone during the night, but that's also the thing that it's great to doing in your hometown.
Traveling as a group can be a lot of fun because everyone brings their own interests and personalities to the adventure. Plus, it's great to share the experience with the people who are in the same boat as you. We didn't have any issues in our group, but it's better to take people who you know well and to communicate openly. If you decide to travel with others, you don't have to stick for the entire trip together. You can just share a part of it together and then go your separate ways. Just make sure to let them know your plans in advance.
I kind of like being alone, so it was kind of chill because I had time to myself. I could speak to myself loudly in public spaces. It was easier to gather myself than gather the whole group because like my traveling around Europe was very intense because I would wake up at 4 a.m. let's say, it happened many times, and I went to sleep at let's say 2 a.m. So, well, 2 hours of sleep is enough, and that wouldn't be possible with group.
Honestly, I prefer like the solo word, not alone, because alone is like have something emotionally like the alone lonely connection, but you are not lonely. Like there's a lot of other people that are traveling solo or in a group, and they are open to talk to you or something. And when you are traveling solo, it's even easier to meet people and to get to know them because you are open to them. If you are with your friend, you have something that, okay, this is my friend and we are going together all the time. So it's not that natural to talking to people. But when you are solo and you are going to your shared room or something, you're gonna like talk with everyone. If you are traveling with Discover, you can check the group and ask, okay, anyone here or something. But also what could be important, in my opinion, is to not let them know what's your exact plans. And this is like the big advantages of traveling solo, that you can just decide it day by day, like how you feel in the city and what do you want to do.
I think it was more fun because every one of us wanted to see another places. Every one of us had their own opinion or plan for this trip, and we had to think of it, what would be the best at the exact moment. There are always challenges when you travel, especially as a group, because it is harder to find a mean of transport that would be capable for this amount of person, especially hitchhiking. It is easier to hitchhike on your own, but it is safer to do it in a pair or in a group of 3. It depends if you want to take a risk or do it in more safe way.
I definitely recommend hitchhiking. It is the cheapest and most unique way to travel and meet locals, who usually can offer you more than just a ride. For now, I'll say that probably the best country to do it in is France, and the worst is Spain. Make sure you are visible, there's a place for cars to pull over, take a cardboard and a marker, and use common sense. If someone stopped and you felt like you shouldn't go with them, don't. It's better to wait for another car and be safe. If you also feel like you want to try it, I recommend going to hitchwiki.org, linked in the description, down there, because while it's a little outdated, it's still the best resource to learn about where and how to do it. For your first time, I recommend participating in something well organized, like autostop race, because first of all, you won't be alone. In case something happens, it will be easier to get help, and after the race there is a big party where you can meet others and have a great time.
During our hitchhiking adventure, we've met a lot of local people who were very eager to help us, to show us their kindness, their hospitality, and they really cared about us, and I think that they care about every hitchhiker that they take in their car.
When you get plane tickets, you also have Interrail ticket. The most important thing is to be fast, because I know that not many people get the plane tickets. So first thing I did was to write to support if I can book tickets or get the tickets already. And they wrote me back that there is no problem, that there are still 3 tickets left, that they will try to meet my needs, let's say, because I wanted a specific date, so they have to check it. So that was really a long conversation, but in the end, everything worked out great.
It's important to mention that you can only fly to island countries. That is Iceland, Ireland, Malta or Cyprus. And your departure flight doesn't have to be to the same place from which you came. Both flights already comes towards the 1 month travel period of the Interrail pass, so remember to plan around that as well. Let's face it, these trips are very intense. You want to see as much as possible using just 7 travel days. My journey covered over 10,000 kilometers in over 40 cities in just 4 weeks. Imagine traveling 350 kilometers daily and sightseeing in scorching summer heat. But trust me, pushing yourself to see it all is worth the exhaustion. You will have plenty of time to rest when you come back home.
I think that it was probably too intense, but if you do it once in your life, it's worth it, and I don't regret that. We didn't sleep a lot during the whole trip, but I was tired when I got back home. When we were still in the center of the trip, I didn't feel any tiredness.
I feel that my trip was quite intense. It was a lot of walking on foot. I prefer like walking than, for example, using underground or something like that. And at the beginning it was really great. Then it's going to be harder and harder with time. You just have to think like how intense trip you can do, but also let you just relax during the trip. And even if it costs you some less activities, sometimes it's great to just let it go and be in a city with yourself, get rest and go to another day with new energy than just doing sightseeing because you have to do it.
I deeply regret not recording my trip and making a video that I could show you right now. Photos and short clips just don't capture the full experience. Therefore, I highly recommend that you record your own journey and maybe even turn it into a proper video. All you need is a phone or a GoPro.
I took my camera, which was very helpful to document all the places that we've been to. My advice is to take a bigger card because I had to upload my photos on my online discs, and if I took bigger card there wouldn't be any problem. I also posted some stories or photos on the Instagram, and I like to go back to the time of our trip through looking to my Instagram account.
One thing that I've made about, it's not exactly documentation, but I love this idea, is that I was traveling only in one shoes, and I was writing all the cities on the shoe that I've been there, and making like picture, like, you know, Eiffel Tower with the Paris new, and you can see on those pictures that day by day it's more names, and I'm still doing this after Discover. So maybe you can find something, some creative idea for not exactly documentation, but making some memories with something.
I took GoPro with me, and whatever I was looking at, my camera was also looking at that. Not much, because let's say for every attraction, like, I don't know, 5 seconds, like from outside, let's say. But still, I want to do a video of all of that, but it takes time.
If you are looking for events, parties, or just want to connect with new people, join Erasmus groups for specific cities on WhatsApp or Facebook. There's always something happening, even in the summer. If you plan to travel a lot in one day, make sure your first train is departing just after midnight and your last train is departing just before midnight. Because travel days are from midnight until midnight, and the only thing that matters is when you get on the train, not when it arrives. Unless you are changing them in between, because then you might use up 2 days for one journey, so be careful. I recommend getting iSeek, because a student ID from your country might not be recognized elsewhere. And, as I've already mentioned, I recommend buying their insurance. If you need Wi-Fi while traveling, look into Edron, because it's free for all the students and available in most universities, not only in Europe but all over the world.
Definitely entry fees were really cheap or for free almost everywhere, because most countries in European Union have this program that entry fees for museums or other attractions are for free for youth. The greatest tip I can give you is to speak to people around you, because you can get any help you need. Whatever you don't know, you just ask anyone or a student who is there, and they will tell you everything and even help you if you need that. Doing research on something, or you're lost and you need help, and you can just ask someone next to you and he will tell you.
I would change my backpack into the backpack with wheels. I would choose not as many places to visit. I would focus mainly on the most exciting things to see and to do, and try to better explore the single city or town. Don't bring a lot of food with you, don't bring a lot of clothes. Plan as much as you can before the trip and enjoy the whole process.
Don't be scared of like losing things. Like that's okay when you lost something, because like the things are for you, not you for things. So just use it, and it's not that big deal, okay? Great to have your phone and documents and money, okay, that's important. But the rest of things, they are just things. Now when I'm going back to those days, I feel that some of the decisions that I've made maybe was not the best, but they've taught me a lot. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. It don't have to be like the best plan at the best trip of your life. Like it's probably one of the first trips that you are making. So that's great to just explore what you enjoy.
This video can't cover everything, so feel free to leave any questions in the comments and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. Go watch full interviews with my friends, linked in the description, because they might have the answers you seek. And if you didn't qualify for Discover You this time, worry not, because there are 2 application rounds, one around October and one around March, so depending on when you were born, you might still have a chance. And if you like this video and want to stick around for more travel content like this, be patient, because it takes time to create. But if you have any suggestions for what you want to see next, leave them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. That's all. Thank you very much for watching, and huge thanks to Natalia, Kuba and Marek for sharing their experiences. And as you embark on your own Discover You journey, remember to embrace the adventure, be open to new people and experiences, and most importantly, have fun.